All right, welcome to the recap. So, going into the day, I had a pretty 50-50 bias, but what was making me more bullish is the way that the daily candle opened. So, you can see we opened here, but we don't trade into this daily gap here. We leave it behind on ES2. And this is an open high here, and then we close below it, and we use it as support too to go lower. But because of this accumulation here and all of this getting swept, I kind of viewed this like here as the manipulation for the day and not really this. Especially on ES, you can see we do open higher here, but we just chop around. So I did expect something like this where we just accumulate here during Asia, and then this would be the manipulation, and then flip pretty much from here. But for that to happen, I wanted to see this low here get reswept. So we swept this daily low here, but this pretty much made equal lows. Like, this was not really a good sweep, in my opinion, for us to like reverse this whole move. So I wanted to see open resweep this low and then fill this 4-hour gap because we've already reacted off of the CE of it, and then tap into this 1-hour gap as well. And then ES was the same idea. We had tapped into this 4-hour gap, and I was hoping that this was a 30-minute rejection block at open, and it later became a 1-hour. And I wanted to see this low hold and get an SMT. But basically, none of that happened. So, what actually happened is we had this 1-hour gap as well. And I had pretty much two scenarios. Maybe we open higher into this 1-hour gap and actually short out of this back to this low, because this was my short-term draw. So this gap right here, and that would be a pretty clean short, just because I feel like this is a pretty clear draw here. I didn't expect this low to just hold. So let me just get out of here. So what happened is we actually did open higher. So here's open, and we came up into the CE of this 1-hour gap here, which was really nice. And we had this 15-minute gap that we tapped right here. And I drew the fib on this 1-hour leg here. So we left the low, traded higher at open, trade into OTE of the 1-hour range, and you get this 1-minute rejection block. I waited for a 3-minute. So this first 3-minute rejection block was my entry, and I actually just entered on the beginning of it, but you could have used CE as well. Looked good, but I usually just go for the beginning here, and then just targeted this low. I think I went for a 1 to 5. So this was really good trade with pretty much Judas swing higher into this 1-hour gap. This looked really good, but I actually got break even on this because My original idea was to go break even at this low because my entry's right here. So this would break even would be at around a 1 to 3. But I actually went break even when this 1 minute gap got inversed right here. So I went break even a little bit earlier than I was planning to. But because of this candle and this got inversed, I was pretty sure we were just going to continue from here. And I didn't want to see this move up higher. So I was pretty sure this was just going to run, especially with open being like more volatile and quicker moves. I was like, all right, I'm just going to go break even. But I get break even stopped on this candle right here because ES reswept the high. Wait, where is it? Right here. So now there was a SMT, a small SMT with this high. So yeah, break even there, which is fine. I did want to re-enter, but I set my timer, my 10-minute timer. What I told you guys about yesterday. I said too bad. I'm just gonna wait for 10 a.m. So this played out. Got break even on this, and then I waited for 10 a.m. So as you can see, nothing really happened here. But what I did want to see, I wanted 10 a.m. to open higher into this 15-minute rejection block, just because we still had the low. I pretty much had two scenarios for 10 a.m. Either we just open lower and actually sweep this low and get longs out of this 1 hour gap, or maybe we actually open higher, which would be really nice because it would be a little bit tricky to long this, to be honest, because there's like, we're all the way down here. It'd be a lot harder to catch the low versus to just take a continuation short. Would be a lot easier. So I wanted this right here and a resweep of this 5-minute high. But yeah, 10 a.m. decided to just chop, and it did open lower on ES into this 1 hour rejection block, just the beginning of it. But I'm not really sure what you could have taken here. Like, it's just complete chop. So I was hoping for a little bit of accumulation here and then a manipulation here, and this manipulation looked like it was about to manipulate higher, but then it just made equal highs and then just came lower, and I was thinking, okay, maybe we're manipulating lower, and then we just came back up, and yeah, so I just sat out for this and nothing happened. So I decided to see, because this just chopped and we actually made these lows here, I wanted to see if 11 a.m. could do something. So I was hoping for 11 a.m. to open higher, which it did, and then take a short down to these lows here. And what happened is this was really clean. So we still had this 15-minute rejection block, which was off of the 1 hour gap here. And what I was hoping for is for an SMT as well, because ES was stronger here. So I expected ES to resweep the high because it was so close to it at 11. And 11 a.m. opens higher. We get an SMT here, and we actually tapped the CE of this 15-minute rejection block perfectly. So I took this because this is like exactly what I wanted to see. This was super clean in my opinion. So here's the manipulation. and then we trade lower to the draw, which I still think would be this low. And I went ahead and entered on this candle. So I actually just market ordered this because the risk was still good. And I was so sure about this, I didn't want to get left out. So I didn't care to market order it because I would have been pretty sad if I limited it and I didn't get tagged in. So I decided to just market order it. It looked really clean. And then I just targeted this low right here. Was it? Wait. Yeah, this low. So this was a 1 to 3.5, which is pretty good. I'm happy with that. I could have held because this is still my draw. So I could have held to here or even here, but I didn't really feel like doing that because I wasn't super sure if price action is actually going to behave and be clean, or is it just going to keep chopping. So I just went for like a pretty conservative target. I don't really feel like holding this for more, but maybe if it was actually clean, like a better day, if there's more reason to move, I'd probably hold to this low. But yeah, just aim for a 1 to 3.5 here. And I went break even pretty quick. I think, yeah, once we hit 11 a.m. open, pretty much I went break even because we had these 1 minute gaps. But yeah, it was a pretty quick break even. And then we actually delivered pretty quickly, which is really nice. I was really hoping we weren't going to start reversing off of 10 a.m., which thankfully we did not do. And we actually swept all these lows. So I think there was really only two good trades for the day. Either this 3-minute rejection block or the 1 minute. Yeah, there's no 5 minute, but there's 3 minute right here. This 1 minute was clean right here. Everything else was just chop. The only thing I did see was this 15-minute rejection block on ES because it's off of the beginning of this 1 hour rejection block. But obviously the stop is pretty huge. But on ES, this actually made sense as a 10 a.m. open low, which you would barely get a 1 to 3. But yeah, 10 a.m. opens lower into this 1 hour. And then we make this 15-minute rejection block. But there's no 5 minute. Like, the only really entry would be the 15-minute rejection block. And I didn't really love this because I would have wanted to see CE just to be sure this wouldn't get reswept. But yeah, really no direction for 10 a.m. today, which is the reason I decided to look for something at 11 because since 10 a.m. just chopped here, I was expecting 11 a.m. to clean up and actually deliver, which it did. So pretty happy with today. Unfortunate break even for the first trade, but that's fine. Luckily I didn't like freak out over this. I just decided to just wait for 10 a.m. Didn't take anything dumb here because there's really nothing. And just waited for 11, which actually gave a really nice trade. If you actually limited this, this would have been really nice. Would have been a lot. It would have been like 1 to 6, which would be nice, but also I'm okay with just market ordering this as long as the risk is still good. And if I'm super confident in the trade, then it's fine. But yeah. So today was, yeah, not great if you were trading 10 a.m. But 11 a.m. was pretty good. And yeah, I was expecting London high, to be honest, because of the equal highs. But I don't think this manipulation move is really over. will probably still come lower because the way the week opened, looks like it opened higher on Monday, sweeping out this high. So maybe next week we'll actually flip back up, but we'll see. So thanks for watching. Hope that all makes sense, and I'll see you guys in the next one.